David Jordan is the private advisor to CEOs, specialising in creating results through strategic innovation. Welcome to this week's segment.
We see a very interesting scenario quite often where companies believe that we need to bring young people into the organisation because the young people are going to come up with the fresh ideas and challenge the status quo. And it's not an appropriate way of measuring it. It's not age that brings skill to the table. You could have very clever young people that can come up with those ideas, but you can actually have older, more mature people that come up with those ideas. So it's very important to not misunderstand why those ideas are fresh. Often a young person coming to the organisation is not encumbered with what's been going on in the organisation. And in that, they're often challenging and asking reasons why, and often seem to be coming up with fresh ideas. But we actually have a great opportunity sometimes with the more mature workers in the organisation because they have a lot of experience. And they actually do ask the question why, but they're fair to actually raise it with management. And we need to tap into that because they've seen what's going on in the factory line, they know what's going on with the customers, they're actually aware of a number of issues that we could actually come up with some great innovation, but they're not communicating it. And a lot of that is because we often create this scenario in the or culture in the company where we regard that the older workers may not be people that could contribute to the business. So it's very important not to be confused that age will bring creativity, innovation, and new ideas into the business. So the sort of topics that the CEO Innovation Blueprint touches on are issues that might stop creativity in your organisation. You can't get innovation if you have people not coming up with ideas. So we need to identify what is blocking those issues. Now, communication is one of those problems, and one of the issues that we find in organisations is the fear of judgment. People won't raise ideas at the table because they might be judged to be foolish or naive. So there's a range of issues that we need to try and deal with to try and challenge it. The examples that the CEO Innovation Blueprint raises is how to change the structure of your business and the culture to overcome those issues. A very good example is if you have a management meeting. The management meeting is often dealing with the challenges. Why is the sales revenue not up? Why have we got production issues here? Why did the computer system fail in the middle of the day? And so on. And it's a very challenging environment. It's putting that pressure on people. You know, why haven't you performed? Why haven't you responded? Why haven't you reacted? Why have we failed here? Why have we failed there? If you think about it, it's not really conducive to somebody coming up with new ideas or fresh ideas or challenging the status quo, because it's a very judgmental type meeting. So we always recommend is to not have the innovation meeting as part of the normal business meeting, so that you can create a different culture. So you can create a situation where now we have a different meeting. This meeting is really just about coming up with ideas. It's not about judging people. It's not about saying this is a silly idea. It's really about just brainstorming, coming up with fresh ideas, prepared to challenge the status quo without fear of being contradicted or judged for making those environments. And just by having a separate meeting, you can increase the creativity in your business substantially. The CEO Innovation Blueprint deals with some contentious topics that are important to people right now, and one of those is digital disruption. And many companies are looking at how do we defend ourselves against a digital disruptor. And it's a very good time to really stop and think about your business. One of the mistakes that companies make about digital disruption is about the technology. It's not about the technology, it's about the business model. And if you're going to defend your organisation against a business with a different business model, then you need to think about how you change your business model, not follow the digital disruptor's business model. A good example that we talk about at the moment with digital disruptions is about the travel agency. You know, when you used to, 30 years ago, order an airline ticket, you'd phone up somebody and travel agents would actually book the ticket for you and courier a physical ticket. And when you think about what we've been doing over the last 20 years and the way that we try to streamline our business, we've focused on the 80-20 rule. What is 20% of the work that will generate 80% of our revenue? So you can imagine these travel agents who saw this as a great opportunity to develop their business. It's a low-hanging fruit, it's a simple process. We book an airline ticket, courier it out, make a cut in the business. And along comes the digital disruption of internet airline booking. So the organizations had geared their structure of their business along the 80-20 rule that actually made them increasingly more exposed to a digital disruptor than a general business that hadn't focused on the 80-20 rule. Travel agents have been affected by digital disruptors. So how does Flight Centre, as a travel agency, doing such tremendous growth at the moment? And this is really highlights the issue for any organisation dealing with digital disruptors, is Flight Centre has moved away from the 80-20 rule. Flight Centre is focused on the aspects that internet booking systems are very poor at doing. So if you think of a situation, it's very easy. I'm going to fly from New York to Los Angeles or Sydney to Melbourne, and go onto the internet, book one seat, this is the flight, put your credit card details, you got your ticket. That's nice and easy. Now I'm going to travel between countries, I need to make several stops. Halfway through the journey, we've got a new appointment with another customer, we've got to adjust the travel journey, and I'm sitting there, I'm in a rush, I'm time poor, and I'm trying to deal with an internet booking system that can't manage it. Along comes Flight Centre and says, we can do that for you. So Flight Centre is actually focusing not on the low-hanging fruit, but on all the complex stuff and making life simple for the customer. And it's a very good example of, if you're trying to compete against a digital disruptor, don't focus on the simple stuff, really focus on what the digital disruptor isn't actually good at doing. If the company's looking at how to defend itself against a digital disruptor, don't do what the digital disruptor does, which is focusing on a simple process. Focus on what the digital disruptor is not good at doing it, and that's all the complex stuff, the difficult stuff, where you can help the customer. So when you're thinking about digital disruptors, it's very important to really think, what are they doing? And one of the challenges is, again, it's not about the technology. One of the problems is that we keep making a mistake that technology is innovation. Often technology is automation. I mean, all that a website is doing is, instead of picking up the phone and talking to somebody over the phone who enters the details into a computer system, we get the customer to self-serve and they enter the details for us through a website. But that's not innovation, that's automation. Websites have been around for 25, 30 years. So how's that innovation? So digital disruptor with technology is more about methods of automating processes rather than coming up with an innovation. Uber is not really innovating anything. We're talking about booking a taxi ride, which has been around for years. And then the website, so it's using web applications and mobile devices to help you to book a cab ride. It's an automation process, not an innovation. If you're trying to compete against a digital disruptor, don't make the mistake of the technology. Step back, really think about, how can I do the business model differently where I can solve the customer's problem? And after I've really thought about that, start looking at how I can use technology to enable that.
To get your copy of David Jordan's book, The CEO Innovation Blueprint, go to his website, theceoblueprint.com.au.